you convince our darling daughter to take such a long, lovely nap?
Oh, I told her that her mommy and her daddy wanted to take a little nap, too.
As simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Sure beats working, doesn't it?
Beats not working, too.
Still a problem with the writing?
What writing?
You're really stuck, huh? Well, maybe, you can't get started, or what? Or maybe I should ask. Just keep my mouth shut.
I can get started. I've started dozens of times on dozens of ideas that seem terrific for about 5 minutes, and then the life just goes right out of them.
It sounds like you haven't hit the right subject yet. You will soon.
Yeah, well, I better, because I'm at about the bottom of the list of the things I'd write if I had the time.
Maybe you should try a new approach to it. Why not sit down at the typewriter, let your mind wander, and write about whatever comes to you?
I tried that.
And what'd you think about?
Your sister.
Tell me you didn't say that.
Your sister getting a fish delivered to her doorstep.
Ah, the fish with a rose in its teeth.
Mm-hmm. Joe Novak is a romantic. Now, how do you like that?
I'm not sure I like anything about Joe Novak, to tell you the truth.
Mayor, I know that the guy may be indicted by the grand jury, but you really should try to see beyond that. Now, some of my oldest friends trust him. I trust him. I've seen him operate. I think that he's a decent human being.
You know what I think? I think you just solved your writing problem. Do a story on Joe Novak.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe.
Why not?
Well, he might not go for it. He never used to like publicity.
Oh, I suspect he may have developed a taste for it. She says thanks to me, modestly. Anyway, we have to go there for dinner and eat that ridiculous fish tonight. Why not ask him then?
You invited him, Ma. I didn't.
Oh, darling. The man invited himself. To buy a dinner. What am I supposed to do? Keep him out? After all, it was his fish.
Well, it's his fish and your problem. I mean, I don't have to be here for that. Let him chase you around the table. I'm gonna go out and get a hamburger, come back when it's safe.
Siobhan, do you want to be rude to Jack's friend? He asked us not to embarrass him now.
It's blackmail. Fish mail.
I tell you what, I promise you, if he starts to chase you around the table, I personally would tell him to stop.
Okay. I'll go. But it's not gonna be fun.
Patrick Ryan is now being played by Robert Finicoli.
You can have whatever you want. But just remember, we're going to Lem's too, after the movie.
Here's to women's liberation. May she always pick up the tab.
Well, not always.
Now, what are we celebrating?
My success.
In general?
No, in particular, in terms of Nancy Feldman.
Oh, dear.
Come on, don't spoil our cocktail hour. Plans are going full steam ahead. I went down to Central Files today.
Central Files? In the hospital?
Guess who sends you her very best?
Who?
Come on, Rod. Evelyn Marchero?
Yeah. Oh, for heaven's sake. Evelyn with the hair down to here and the big smile.
She likes you a lot.
Yeah, well, I liked her. She was rather sweet and very gullible, as I recall. I had occasion to do some digging down there once myself.
You know, we really are two of a kind.
What did you find out from Evelyn?
Everything I wanted to know about Dr. Adam Cohen, including the fact he's Jewish, like I thought, and single, and he plays cello and squash.
That would logically follow.
No, don't tease. I'm serious. And he's intellectual without being stuffy.
It said that in his personal file?
No, but I could tell from his handwriting. His signature was charming. He's Mr. Right for Beryl Feldman.
Beryl? Well, what about Nancy Feldman? She's the one he's supposed to marry.
Well, she will. I know.
How?
I just feel it in my bones. You know, I feel about Adam the way I felt about tea. Now, I just need a little bit of help from you.
I've already said no.
But it's so simple you won't even mind. All you have to do is assign Adam to Dave Feldman's case. Nancy may not know it, but the man of her dreams is about to find her. Thanks to me.
I'm glad you've got this room.
I'm glad you're in it.
Do you think the security guards still believe I'm your sister?
Well, either they do or they're on our side. When's your Aunt Sophie coming?
Well, she'll be here in a day or two. It'll be very good for Mama. They were always very close.
I hope you come back to the houseboat then. Will you?
Oh, I want to.
Anne?
And I'm scared. It was so nice when we believed that we could just shut the world out and what we did was our own business. But the truth is, the choices you make do affect other people. People you love do love you.
I love you, Nancy.
I love you. And I want to be with you. And I'm not sorry we moved in together. What we did wrong was to lie about it.
You were just trying to protect your folks, that's all.
Well, I guess you don't protect people by hiding the truth from them. They just find out in the worst way possible. Then, you know, I don't think it was our living together that upset him so much as my lying.
We won't lie anymore.
No, that's right. Only, Pat, we can't be together right away. We're gonna have to wait until Daddy's better and I can tell him. Not that he's gonna approve or even understand. But I've got to tell him what I'm doing.
Yeah, all right. I feel more comfortable with that, too. Hey, I bet you're hungry.
I bet you're right.
So am I. Also low on cash. How would you feel about going to Ryan's?
Oh.
Ma said you shouldn't be such a stranger. She meant that. Come on, Nan. You're not afraid to face her.
Only terrified.
That's it, huh? Rose is a rose is a rose, etc.
She wouldn't even have it in the parlor. She wouldn't be sitting here this minute if I hadn't persuaded her not to insult your friend.
Maybe I should be flattered by this. I just have the feeling that a lot of women in New York are up to here in fish and roses compliments of Joe Novak.
Where is the beast anyway? In the oven?
Well, not the whole one. I had your father cut it up into steaks. I mean, it was too big. Come on inside. I'll show you the crate to give you an idea of how large this critter was.
Thank you.
For what?
Not insulting Joe Novak. Too much, anyway.
Sure.
There it is.
Oh, that's amazing.
It caused quite a commotion, let me tell you. Besides all the other excitement that's going on around here. You heard about your brother's vice presidential news?
Ah, you mean the grassroots committee in New Hampshire? Yeah, Bob called me. It's going to be on my show tonight. You're not thrilled about it, though.
Well, in the next breath that he tells me he's going to New Hampshire, Ray announces that they may elope to New Hampshire. My thoughts, exactly.
Well, she wants a big wedding.
Yes, my dear, but what she really wants is a commitment on your brother's part, and the sooner the better.
You still hate it, don't you?
Yeah. Let's say I haven't gotten used to the idea.
Oh, Ma.
Oh.
So you're having problems working down at Weehawken Street? Thought you were dying to get to write at home.
You know, you get used to one thing and...
Yeah, like total chaos, Finn slobbering down your back, me looking over his shoulder.
Well, I adjusted to that. Now I have to readjust.
Me too. I didn't realize till you left. I mean, I had to give this lecture the other day without you having read the first draft. I was so nervous. It's just as well I stopped relying on you.
Tell me something. What is your impression of my friend Joe Novak?
Mixed feelings. Can't say that I really like him. His macho style kind of puts me off. But on the other hand, that fish was a unique approach. He's interesting.
I think so, too. As a matter of fact, I may be working on it.
Story on Joe Novak?
Well, it's just an idea so far, but I would appreciate it if you were at least polite to him until he gives me his okay. You don't have to go down on your knees or anything, you know?
For you? Okay.
Thank you.
Dinner time.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that late, huh, Joe?
Hello, Finelli. Siobhan, how are you?
Same as ever.
Is that a threat?
Joe, I want you to meet my mother-in-law, Maeve Ryan.
Well,
Joe Novak.
Well, it's a pleasure.
Nice to
That
meet
was a mighty noble fish you sent to us. I thank you.
I'm glad you liked it. Mary, how's it going?
Nicely, thanks. That was an astounding fish, and I only saw the packing crate.
I liked it.
Excuse me for a minute, please.
Boy, my phone's been ringing more than usual, thanks to you. People calling up telling how great I am on TV. Even my lawyers approved.
Yeah, well, my wife is a great interviewer, but TV does have its limitations. What would you say to a little in-depth coverage?
How do you mean?
In a word, me.
You want to do your column on me?
I don't do my column anymore. Besides, I think you deserve more than a column. I was thinking in terms of a feature article. Maybe a series of articles for the Sunday Supplement magazine. I don't know. Somebody buy it, don't worry.
I'm not. I'm thinking. I'm not used to anybody poking around in my life, you know.
Hey, Joe, the grand jury's poking around. You might as well have a friend on your side. You'd be able to say what you want to say. He would, wouldn't he? Yeah, with no special time limit.
Tell me more, Siobhan.
It's Jack's story.
Yeah, but that's the nicest you've ever been to me. Come on, talk me into it.
How do you know that your Dr. Cohen won't turn out to be another disaster like the Bernie Marks?
Nancy can't have two cousins working in Riverside. Besides, that was just a practice shot and I missed. It was my own fault because I didn't find out enough about him in advance.
Delia, will you explain something to me?
Sure.
When you learned that Dave had a stroke, you were drowning in guilt.
But that was before. Now he's practically all better thanks to your marvelous surgery. Why are you talking about guilt now?
Will you explain to me why you're not guilty now? You're manipulating Nancy and Adam Cohen as much as you did Dave. Even more.
But what I'm doing will make everybody happy.
Pat and Nancy?
In the long run? Sure.
I give up.
Then will you arrange an introduction to Dr. Cohen?
For Nancy or for you?
For me. Then I introduce him to her. Otherwise, I can't take the credit from Maeve. And making Maeve happy is what this is all about.
So I'm supposed to try and persuade you to let him write his article? 25 words or less.
More if you need them.
He's a good writer. And fair. And he has a lot of readers.
Oh, look who's here. Excuse me. Hello there, darling.
Hi.
How are you, Nancy? How's your dad?
Oh, he's much better, thanks.
Hi,
Nancy,
everybody.
Pat, why don't you meet an old friend, Joe Novak. Joe, this is Nancy Feldman.
Hi.
My brother-in-law, Pat Ryan.
Hi, how are you?
Joe is responsible for the special fish dinner this evening.
Yes, and I hope you'll stay. We have enough for an army.
We'd like to, but we better raid the refrigerator and run. I'm on duty tonight.
All right, come inside. What were you going to say?
I was going to say that I have to get back to see Daddy.
Oh, all right. Well, come. I'll fix you something bad. I'm glad you came by. I really am. I've been wanting to talk to both of you. And I'm glad it's taken place here in my kitchen, because I seem to be able to collect my thoughts best in here. Sit down, darling. You must look to be exhausted.
You have that in common with Mama. She always says she feels more secure in her own kitchen.
Patrick, would you get the bread? Yes, I have a lot in common with your mother, dear.
You, both love your kids and worry about them.
Yes. What's more important? I feel it's important to keep the lines of communication open between us all, even if my children and I don't agree.
Pat and I were just talking about that earlier. We think that the biggest mistake we made was not telling you and Johnny or my parents that we were living together.
Well, that's probably why you're being so frank about it now. You really are intending to move back to the houseboat together, eh?
Yes. Well, we do care what you think. We'd like to make the decision that makes you happy, but...
Patrick, you know, when you were little, I tried to teach you not to hide your feelings. But at the same time, to have some kind of perspective about it. We can't help how we feel. But what we do about it and how it affects other people, well, that's just, you know, that's a different matter. The two of you talk about living for now. I wonder, I mean, have you learned that's not so simple?
Are you telling us that we're responsible for what happened to Dave?
No, darling. I told you that night that you weren't to blame. I mean, who could tell what would have happened to Dave when he got so upset?
But you're saying that we know now.
Darling, all I'm doing is expressing my own particular reservations about the two of you going back to that living arrangement. I'm not just speaking for the people that are going to be affected by it, but for yourselves. I mean, regrets and consequences. I mean, they can destroy the most beautiful memories.
Ma,
We know what you're saying, and we don't want to hurt anybody. That's why we're trying to be open now. And as soon as Daddy's better, I'm going to tell him that I'm moving back to the houseboat. We don't ever want to give him that kind of shock again.
Nancy, dear, if you tell your father the same news, isn't he going to feel the same pain?
And remember, you did say that Mary's interview was good for you. Anything Jack would write would be the same. There. How's that?
Why ask him? Ask me.
Okay, how's that?
Pretty convincing. Only I notice you keep looking to Finelli for cues. What, does he give you permission to talk or something?
Hardly. It's about him and his story. If it was about Mary, I'd be looking at her.
Okay.
Okay, what?
Okay, I understand that.
All right, but you didn't answer the basic question. Does he get his story?
Does she get a commission?
Joe, you have to understand, the Ryan family is very supportive. Now, it took me a while to get used to that, too. You want to stop kidding around and discuss my ideas, huh?
Well, actually, she did a good job. If only my own experience with the press weren't so negative.
Now, wait a minute.
Okay, you were an exception. No, you did it too.
Did what?
Asked questions about my uncle. That's what most reporters want.
The press has covered your uncle plenty. What I'm interested in is you. The way I see you versus the way the grand jury sees you. That's the angle, generally.
Yeah, but admit it. You sell more papers, you get a bigger audience by throwing mud than by throwing roses.
I write what I see. Now, if that worries you...
There isn't much that worries me. Because I watch my step and I always tell the truth.
Well, so do I. Now, I said the story would be about you, not your uncle. Now, if in digging around I find that there's some connection, I would write about it, sure. But you say there isn't any, and I believe you. So?
I'll tell you what. If you'll all come out to dinner with me tomorrow night at the Harborside Restaurant in Sheepshead Bay, you get the story.
I accept. Mayor?
I'd have to check my schedule.
Siobhan? Mrs. Ryan? Have you ever seen a restaurant kitchen equipped with a lobster tank?
I don't believe I have, Mr. Novak.
Would you like to?
Certainly.
2 takers. Anybody else?
I imagine I could clear some time. Okay.
Well, how about it? Don't look at Finelli.
All right, I'll tag along.
What if the perfect guy for you is in LA, or DC, or New York City? Get ready to take a holiday. A new original reality series premieres this Wednesday at 10 on SoapNet.